Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the Wrestling Throne podcast. Today I have.
Oh, is this where I say Jason Storm?
Yes, and I'm keeping this in. So, I mean,
Okay.
well, actually,
Well, that should have been specified before I got here. That's just lazy writing.
oh my God, here we go. We just started, man. We just started. But go ahead. I mean, well, I can't tell you to go ahead because this is my show. This is my shit. It's me.
Come on, let's get it together here. You got to ask me a question before I could just go ahead.
Well,
Let's go.
before we can get into anything, you have to first tell us who you are because honestly, nobody knows who you are. I mean, if you're just paying attention to my past couple promos, we don't know if you're Weirdo Storm. We don't know if you're Tasty Boy Storm. We just know Tasty Boy Storm do not hit. So can you please let the viewers know like who you are because we don't see your name on any championships. We're unfamiliar, but everybody knows who Omega is. So if you don't mind, who is Jason Storm?
I'm the guy that doesn't have a paper when he speaks and just knows how to wrestle and knows all the tweaks, man. I am Jason Storm. I am the history maker that was deleted from MOH
Mm,
because people wanted to keep their zeros in their lost columns.
mm,
54 and 0 is not the real number. I think 5
mm.
and 4 would be the limit number there. You have to split that number apart, put one on one side, one on the other. Um, but people don't want to accept losses, especially from somebody that left the company with bad taste twice. You know, they want to look like the top guy, and they're going to continue to verse jobbers until they feel like not being the top guy anymore.
Wow. I was not expecting that. Um, hold on. Let's back all the way up, right? Because on this podcast, I encourage everybody to be truthful, be yourselves, and you said that 54-0 is not the correct number. I think I remember, you doing a promo in MOH, and I remember you said that he's lost, or I remember me and you getting into it actually.
I have beaten Rez on 2 occasions. And my friend Edwin has beaten him on 1 occasion. As I'm saying this is I don't believe they had any of the win losses in the chat in that registration chat and in the house show chat. But scrolling up and looking at the history books and looking at the history posters, the match cards, there were times where I was on those cards. Tasty Boys were on that card, and one card in specific was the tournament that we had broke out in. Me and Edwin were rookies at the time. Our first match was that tournament, and our first match was against the Aces of MOH, where Ace and Rez as a team. Rez says he doesn't recall being a team with Ace. And as I go up to look at the match card was deleted by the admin, and I know the only person that actually has that power would be Rez. So
That's very interesting. So you don't have any proof of this because it's so hard to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a type of person.
um
Okay, go ahead.
I have no proof at all. There's no proof of my history in MOH. There's no proof of anything like that. But it's funny that there's no history or anything of me, because if there was no history, Rez and John should not have known who I was. Ace should not have known who I was. There shouldn't have been a
That's
welcome back
true.
committee when I got there.
Wow.
Um, it should have been as if I was never there. But I seemed pretty familiar to these people when I got there.
I definitely agree. And that's why I was so confused. I know when you first came in, you caught, the end of the rookie Omega. So when you first came in, I'm snapping on everybody, and I was like, Jason Storm. And I know you came in and there was talks of you being a legend, but I didn't know exactly who you were. I know you posted on social media all those tombstones. And that's pretty impressive, because and I'm gonna be honest, I don't have 17 fights, like 17 televised fights. I don't. I have 14, right? So, and what you posted, it was. I mean, of course, it was long, but it was very informal, and it had a lot of history behind it. But you saying now that Rez isn't 54-0, it's kind of questionable, right? I know when I was at
Yeah.
MOH, every time when we had matches and stuff like that, it was, everybody kept the record of it. And I know sometimes I go back and even my matches still wasn't there. So that's very, very interesting, you know. And I want to say this, right? So when I was in MOH, when I first started, Rez was 44 and 0, right? He didn't fight every Honor Dome. He didn't fight every house show. But for some reason, before I left, he had 10 matches on his record. But I think when I was there, he only fought a total of maybe 5 times. I was one of them. I was but like I said before, Toby, he was special guest referee, and I hit him in the back with a guitar, and we know how it goes in Men of Honor when we have those special guest referee matches. But I say all of that to say this is hold on. I'm not trying to be shady or anything because this is news to me. Now that you're saying all of this, because now it all makes sense. You know, why do you think your record was, or the records of you was abolished? But like you particularly.
Me particularly. I think it's just because of the way I came in. You know, I think some of those rookies that were there along with you were really soft. If they would have went in and let's say I joined back and they kept my records back then, they kept everything that I did. Isaac would not be the first rookie to hold a hardcore championship. That would be me. There would be no inaugural tag team champion. That would be me. There will be no who's going to be the first to beat Rez, because that would be me. Uh, I think there wouldn't have been anything to work for in MOH had I kept my records, had I kept my history there, because I had already smashed records over a span of 2 years. Um, and it was only in the first 6 months that I had spanned and had broke two different records at the same time. I was tag team champion and I was hardcore champion. So then again, you have another problem. I was the first double champion of MOH. Had my history stayed, no one would have had that title to work towards. No one would have had that first ever to work towards. All the rookies would have probably just felt like they were just going to be added to another roster, uh, following in the footsteps of other people. Isaac was one of them. Isaac was in the Outbreak tour, and I took him down easily. 1, 2, 3. Um, it was a hell of a match, but in the end, I made it a hell of a match. You know, people were getting upset in the crowd. I could see the angry faces. The match was very one-sided for the first about maybe 8, 7, 8, 9 minutes. So of course I had to let it be entertaining for them, because MOH was always supposed to be for the crowd. MOH was always about being hardcore, but being for the people. At least from what I remember. Now it's about being for the management. As long as management likes it, you're okay. Um, if management doesn't like what you're doing, if management doesn't agree with what you're doing, you will not be getting the push that you wanted, and that was shown. Uh, the only reason why I really got a championship opportunity, the only reason why I started becoming the face was because Omega Supreme left, and that's who management had wanted. That's who management catered to. Management even made a faction with Omega Supreme, because that's who they wanted to thrive. There was no records of Jason Storm. There was no talk of being pushed. There was nothing like that. And I think it was just disrespectful to me. I think it was disrespectful to my career. So I did what nobody else would have done, and I waited till I was at the pinnacle of the career, and I was at the proving ground of what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to regain championships, and I said I was going to beat everyone that I had to in my path, and I went 6-0 against new people, not all repeats. It wasn't six of the same person, six each individual person. There was Ace, there was Draven, there was uh there was Mike, there was Isaac, there was Aries, and there was I can never remember that guy's name. AK. That's right. So I went 6-0 against six different people. It's not like I had repeat matches. But once I won my championship, I felt there was no better time to leave and come to GWA for new opportunity than then. Get everything off my mind and let everybody know the secrets of what was going on backstage. And I think I did that to the best of my ability, and it worked out pretty well. Um, Sadly, my records will be cut off again, and I'm sure it will be. Um, but I have no problem with that because I know GWA won't do that to me, and I'm looking forward to how my career is going to flourish here.
Okay, so you said a lot, right? So I kind of want to go from not the beginning, but kind of the middle. Some of the beginning I already knew. So we're gonna start off with the Aces of MOH. Who exactly was in that faction?
So the Aces of MOH kind of started before I got there. It was Rez and Ace, and from when I got there and started the Breakouts tournament, they were saying that they were the top tag team in the division, and I kind of came in. Me and Edwin, we beat the bosses in the quarterfinals of the tournament for the MOH Tag Championships. They were vacated because I believe Damien Suicido was he was out at the time. It was him and Desmond that were a team, and they had to vacate him because
I like to
Damien
turn
went
it
out
off.
for a while. And beating Rez and Ace in the opening of my career, I know that left a bad taste in their mouths, and it's probably
Pause.
the starting point of why they decided to take out my career. Because losing to a rookie as the boss of a company, trying to talk all this talk and main event showcase after showcase after showcase, being very selfish with your own main events is kind of crazy. Um, but it's
Elaborate
what
on that
happened.
because you kind of skip past that. What do you mean selfish with your pay per views or main events?
Well, if you really think about it, showcase for the last 3 years has been nothing but John versus Reds. No one wants to see that anymore.
I
You
agree.
know, you have a whole lineup of talent. I haven't versed John in a one-on-one ever. I never versed Rez in a one-on-one ever. Uh, I'm not sure if it's an embarrassment thing or if it's just the fact that they want to just keep going at it and say fuck the rest of the talent. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. That's all I've noticed. I've noticed that no one else has one-on-one with Rez except, to my knowledge, Toby. Um, and yeah, it's just how it's been. Showcase is just that one pay per view that no one else is the main event of. Ever. I don't know if that's just when I'm looking or
That's
you know.
very that's very interesting. Um, so let's switch gears real quick because you threw a lot of shots and I feel like a couple of them was for me. So you said something about soft rookies, including me. What does that mean? Break that down. What do you mean soft rookies, including me?
So soft rookies kind of that dates back to when I first came back. I had my first match. I had my first match against Isaac, and I thought it was fine. Uh, and then we had did a dark match, um, over in I believe it was Toledo, Ohio, and Rez kind of shot me a message right after that. Um, I can post the message online to everyone for everyone to see. He kind of just told me,
Wow,
here, let me go read it off, word for word.
wow, bar for bar.
He
Okay,
really summing it up. He basically told me that I was moving too fast and I was too fast paced, and people couldn't really keep up with me.
are you
Uh,
serious?
yeah, his words, and that. Yeah, he said, "Yo, bro, I watched you guys match from earlier. You need to slow down a little. You're doing things too fast, not giving time to catch breath in order to have a good match." And that was just part of the dominance that Tasty Boy Jason Storm had. You know, I was always fast paced. I was always right on top of my opponent. I gave him no breathing room, no nothing like that. Um, and I come back, and that's just frowned upon. And that obviously meant he's saying that he went back and watched the match and noticed it, but I'm almost positive that that was a complaint by Isaac saying like, hey, He's not giving me any type of room to breathe or do anything.
Wow. Do you,
I'm a dominant superstar. I lived for that. 2 years ago, I was as dominant as could be, 17-0, and no one complained. There wasn't a single complaint from anyone. I come back and go to do this, and it's like because I'm outshining the competition, I'm being frowned upon. And I noticed that the way I was before is not allowed now. Because before, I had two people retire just because I had beat them.
who
I
are those
come
people?
back.
Do you remember?
So before it was Luke. Luke had stepped away from the ring after a while. I had defended my hardcore championship successfully in a squashed match, and next night comes out on a dome and just completely retires. He says that he can't keep up with the company, he can't keep up with the superstars that are there, and that he feels he should take some time off. Now, nobody was fooled when he came back as Aaron Barnes. Nobody. Um, we all knew who it was. He fought the exact same, lost the same. You know, that's just how it was. Um, I, for one, do believe that the rookies were, they were weak. I believe that you as well, Omega, were weak.
Why?
And the only reason why I believe this, won't get into it, but the only reason why I believe this is because you were champion at the time, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the champion that you were was against idiots and peasants that complained because I was being too dominant, which made me pull back on how I react and how I wrestle and how I am. And it made me weaker as a person. It made me weaker as a wrestler. And, I'm starting to think that maybe I should just bring that back. Maybe I should bring back that aggression. You know, I'm starting to bring it back now with GWA. We all saw it with Scorpion or Draven, whatever he wants to call himself. He tried throwing a promo out on me, and I completely buried him. And I haven't gotten a promo about him from him since. Uh, I did get one, but it was something really minor. Let me go back and watch real quick. Let's see. Yeah, he came in talking about how I was a charity case, that I hardly show up. I hardly show up because no one gives me the type of time to even want to show up. That's not my problem. He wants to bring back King Scorpion, that's fine. I don't have to bring back another gimmick in order to whip someone's ass. I can be Tasty Boy Storm and be dry as fuck to everyone, and I can be Weirdo Storm and be amazing to everyone. But no matter what it is, I'm still the same in the ring. Whether I want to be fast paced or I want to be dominant and strong. I can be a powerhouse or I could be agile. No matter what, I'm going to put on a clinic and I'm going to out wrestle. Um, and going back to Rico's podcast earlier, I was listening and I heard him say that from a star power standpoint, you, Omega, were, just like you called yourself, Thanos. You left and have followed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he also did say that they got back people that could possibly beat you.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the new MOH beating the old MOH. I feel like they just came there this weekend, so how could they even like touch us? They don't even know the rules. We would work them. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and they can't work us. They can't. I can't speak for you, but for me, they can't work me. He even said it in your podcast. Emotionally, mentally, physically, nobody's as creative as me. Nobody can
I
touch
agree.
me. Um, we've seen it with, you know, promos from you. We've seen it from, you know, promos with Isaac and Draven and Rico. Uh, Rico said that he brought in his own religion and it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense because it had no startup, it had no build up, no revival to it. Yes, it's your religion. I understand that, but if we're gonna look back in the past, that gimmick, that whole story didn't come to play
Mm-hmm.
until I decided to get creative and bring in myself. Um, Omega,
Mm-hmm.
you want to call yourself an influencer, you want to say you bring the best out in people. When I set foot in MOH and I started making you hallucinate and I started doing all these things to you and creating imagery, uh, putting videos with voice lines and you know, propping things up for you, painting a picture. I didn't need TikTok effects to paint a picture and make a video and make me look cool and make me sound cool. Um, I didn't need to do voodoo on you to make you hallucinate. I didn't need voodoo to try and elevate your emotions and elevate your mentality. I
Mm-hmm.
used my words. I used imagery to make you see what I saw without you actually being. And
It's a beautiful thing, yeah.
a lot of people a lot of people followed. You know, coming here to GWA, I wanted to hide all that. I wanted to see if somebody would do it better than me, if somebody would take it after me and run with it. And it just hasn't. Scorpion tried, and the second I retaliated, the character was dropped. He revealed himself as his regular self, and he went and did backstage interviews with dumb blondes and
Eh,
said 3 sentences with me,
I
and then
disagree with
moved on
that.
to the next person.
Yeah, I disagree. But let me give you some pushback, right? So I still want to start back from the top. You said that the soft ass rookies, including Omega, but I want to give you pushback on that because I feel like we were the best draft class of MOH history, and multiple legends have said it. The owner has said it. And you look at Isaac right now. Isaac is 7-1. He's still hardcore champion. He cuts some creative promos. Yes, he has stupid ass pants, and yes, he has stupid ass Jay Uso glasses. That's cool, right? But you look at him as a whole, and he was one of the, other than me, right? You take me out of the, you take both of us, right? Because I didn't know how great you were. 17-0, and then before you left, you're 6-0, and you had a title. That's amazing. So that's like you're 23-0. Like, I can't take that away from you. That's incredible. And then you, like you said, you didn't have duplicate matches. I give credit where it's due. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get that far. I didn't even have 15 matches. So you doing that, shout outs to you. But also, you have a generational talent like myself. You have someone who has the whole package with Isaac because, I mean, yeah, he lost to you, but look at who you are. You know what I'm saying? 23, I mean, it's kind of hard to beat you. I've done dark matches with you. I give you your credit. It's hard to beat you, right? And Isaac being a pure rookie, right? Like he literally just started, you know what I'm saying? And he's 7-1. He cuts good promos. He's there. He's active. He's anti-hero. He's all of that, and he comes from my class. Draven comes from my class as well. He's one of the best storytellers MOH has ever had. He might be, 0-100, but he can tell stories. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like just the three of us, not including everybody else, just the three of us changed MOH. You know what I'm saying? We I can't say we cultivated, but you can't write us out of it, right? You look at Toby. Toby took him extremely serious. Toby put him in a coma. Like, that's forever sketched in the history books. You know what I'm saying? Like, he kept going back at Toby, going back, going back, going back. Like, I don't know. The man got heart. So it's like, for you to say that we're soft, I don't think so. And you can't sit there and say, oh, Rez said you're moving to, like, that's Rez. Rez has said a lot of crazy shit that I didn't agree with. He's very old school. Like, if you think about it, he has a Hulk Hogan mindset. It's a beautiful mindset, but it's still dated a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that's pushback I want to give because I feel like we're the best draft class, and I stand on that. You know what I'm saying? So,
So, as far as overall, yes, best draft class by far, yes. But that's because at the time, I was 17-0, yes. But I was 17-0. My first matches were against the boss, against Ace, against John, who was the right hand man at the time, the GM, and against people that just weren't ready for me. I was ahead of the time there. Here, right now, with you guys, I want to say I'm up to par, but still above the level. I haven't gotten my room to shine. I haven't gotten that push to the top. And I do remember you saying that I only have 2 titles to my name.
Right, correct. That I know of.
That's 2 titles that you know of. Exactly. That's 2 titles that you know of. My titles span across company after company. You know, it's not just one place that I've won titles, but it's also not two titles that I've won in one place.
Correct.
MOH, I've won 3 different titles. Um, 2 titles of which I was not given opportunities because, again, the champion had already lost to me in a tag match. Fair and Square has lost to me on dark matches countless occasions. So when the champion has fallen victim to me multiple times on end, they're not going to want me to verse them for their championship because they're going to have to cheat and they're going to lose fan base. They're going to lose money and they're going to lose attention. They don't want that. Because once they start losing attention, once they start cheating against me to win, people are going to want to see me win even more. People are going to push for me to be in that title picture. When I'm not in that title picture, no one's going to care. No one's going to buy tickets, sell seats. No one's going to watch, and no one's going to give a shit about what MOH has to do. So I was not given the opportunities to expand my gold horizons, which is why I was set to a mid-card hardcore championship at the time that I had to elevate myself to the main event. A mid-card tag team championship match that I elevated to 2 different main events. One at Showcase and one at, I believe it was, I want to say, Birthday Bash for John. And John lost to me.
So, okay, so we've said John a couple times, right? John, as you know, was my former tag team partner. We were the Dark Horsemen. He let me know a lot of things, right? But one of the things I would like for you to clear up, because I took this and ran with it, and I think you've said it before too. It's a confusion thing, right? Because he's saying that he was the leader of ATF, but you're saying you're the leader of ATF. He says that he owns the rights and he made up the name. I think you said maybe you made up the name, or maybe I'm wrong. So, like, where did that?
So,
Okay, go ahead.
clearing that up, John had his time in the sun at the time of ATF starting. Uh, John had his time in the sun. And, you know, everyone comes a time where you have to step back a little, step down. That didn't happen with John. John didn't want to hear that. John was not stepping down for nobody. Um, sorry here.
No, take your time.
Yeah,
Thought you was
John,
getting a little emotional.
hold on. Let's take a 2-minute break.
All right, hold on, let me pause it.
Yeah, so to clear it up, John was at the pinnacle of his career. Right before he lost his championship to, I believe it was Ace. He lost his hardcore championship to Ace. No, lost his hardcore championship to Bishop. And, he had started to reach rock bottom. He privately messaged me. He privately messaged Edwin. And he privately messaged Guardian and said, I would like to start a new team. I found out we all live in the same area. We're all from the same area. I want to start up a new team called ATF. I wasn't digging the name too much, but I let it run because the team sounded cool. I got to stick with Edwin. I wanted to see what he had to do. Said the name was called ATF because it was for Allentown's finest. And the name still didn't stick with me. It still doesn't stick with me, you know. Uh, but at the time, I really didn't care about the faction because I was still going for my singles gold. Me and Edwin had the gold already as tag champions, so I was just letting him run with what he wanted to run with. He can call himself the leader all he wants, but to me, that just looked like desperation. Me and Edwin had the tag titles, and I was going for the hardcore championship and ended up getting the hardcore championship. So to me, it just looked like he was trying to look for any type of reason to be in that main event picture still. Um, a month later, I won the hardcore championship. He wasn't wrestling too much. He was more of a, I'm gonna attack from behind, or I'm gonna attack in the ring, or help you guys win matches. Kind of like a Paul Heyman. He was our manager. That's what he turned out to be. And he tries to sit here and say that he ran the company and he ran us and he ran the team. But my man was not a 5 Street champion. He was not a Midwest champion. He wasn't one half of the tag champions. He wasn't a world champion. And he knew better than to go for my hardcore championship. He was nothing. He was just the guy that ran the team. That was it. There is no leadership. The leader holds the top gold. While the others, they get gold too, but it's not as prestigious as his. I had the most prestigious gold at the time. I made it that way. It was a mid-card championship till I got it, and I made it more relevant. Nobody was going for Rez's championship.
What was
Not at
the
all.
what title are you talking about?
The MOH Hardcore Championship.
So how did it go from that's okay. So we got something on our hands now, right? So how did it go from so when you had it, how did it drop prestige then? Because it went from a mid card to a minor title, and then when I got there and during my title reign, a lot of people had a lot of stuff to say about my title reign, but it's just like my title reign, rewrote the narrative on it.
I'm going to, and this is what I'm saying. Rez deleted me from history, which made you think
Oh,
that you
damn.
were the man that brought prestige to that championship. The same way you opened up your mouth and made people hate you so much that they wanted your title and said, fuck every other one, they did the same thing with me. I made a t shirt with everyone's names on it, crossed out. No one liked that. I went ahead and talked shit to everybody in the backstage. Me mugged everybody backstage. Anyone that wanted to shake my hand, I wiped my shirt and kept it pushing. Nobody liked me backstage, and no one's going to like me. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you don't like me. I went out in public and told the fans that I didn't give a fuck about them. I just cared about the fact that I wanted to be on top of the roster. Nobody in the back liked that. So that changed any type of aggression and any type of focus that people had on Rez's 5 Stream Championship. And that turned them all to me. And out of pity, John kept versing Rez because nobody wanted Rez's championship anymore. And it threw the boss on a kickoff card.
Damn, this is very interesting. So, when you were champion, you didn't defend it every week. You just defended at the pay per views.
I defended that championship every time I was put on a card.
So even if it
Right
was,
after I beat,
so even if it was Honor Dome, you was defending it.
no matter what, I defended that championship.
Okay. So that's where
I'm
we
not going to
split.
talk the talk
Okay.
and not walk the walk. See, here's
Okay.
what I did though. The reason why I was defending the championship every week wasn't because I went to the boss and asked him for it. I pissed the boss off so much that he wanted to see me lose it. He wanted to try and embarrass me and give me a short title reign. And then I ended up having 7 defenses within a span of a month. Things
That's
happen.
insane.
I got taken out of action. I lose the title. I come back and I become a 2-time hardcore champion less than a month later.
That's
6 more defenses straight down the bat. I versed Bishop. I versed Ace. I versed Scotty. I versed Punisher. I versed Smoke. I versed Demon. I versed Joker. It even got to the point my title was so prestigious that people that didn't even hate me wanted my championship more than they wanted Reds. And it led Edwin to turn on me. And my last match was against my best friend. Although I won, a part of me left because my own best friend turned on me because he was so lost in the thought of having gold around his waist. but not the top gold like everyone wanted it to be. Not the top gold because management wanted it to be. He went for my gold because it was the only gold that was being talked about. It was the only gold that people kept going for. And not only were people going for my gold and losing, but it's just the fact that I was holding the gold. The biggest shit talker in the company. People wanted it. But not only did they want the gold, they wanted to see me lose. And that's what made it a lot more important than Rez. Obviously, when I left, Rez didn't like that. And Rez thought if he looked in the history books and noticed that I had more different people fighting my title than he did, it was going to put a bad taste in his mouth and give him a bad rep. It was going to look like I was the boss and he was the mid carder. So he erased me from history and let everybody
Damn.
that become hardcore champion then on and brought it to prestige and brought it to main event status like if it was the first time that ever happened. To let them think that they were creating history when really the history was already made and deleted. I come back, they know who I am, but you guys don't. And because you guys don't know who I am, there's nothing for me to defend, especially when I have no control of what history shows.
Yeah. This is very powerful. Now I man, this is strong, right? So you said a lot, bro. You said a lot. Um so let me ask you this, right? So your span as hardcore champion, did you ever main event any pay per view?
Main evented 3 pay-per-views
You main evented three pay per views as hardcore champion.
as hardcore champion.
What pay per views were they? And against who? Do you remember?
Birthday bash, I main evented in a 5-way match. It was me, Ace, Bishop, John, and Edwin, and I won
Sheesh.
that match
And
in
that
a
was the main
5-way.
event.
That was the main event. We did have another pay-per-view right after. Um, trying to remember the name, can't. But it was an honor cage match against Punisher. The day after I beat him, he ended up leaving the company. He was fired because he was so enraged at what I did to him that he went rogue on everybody in the backstage, and they ended up firing him because it was breaking policy. Now, it's not that he went attacking everybody, but he went shitting on everybody's name. He tried to, but he was getting too personal, and they kicked him out for, you know, temper reasons. I showed up one time in his own gear. He didn't like that. The honor cage match, he didn't like the fact that I beat him with his own move.
I mean,
Things push came to shove. He got a little too heated with management. Management gave him the boot. I kept my championship.
so let me ask you this, right? Why do you think that Rez let me and Isaac parade around saying that we changed the course of history at MOH and we rewrote the narrative when it was already written? Like I'm still like I get everything that you're saying, but I don't understand why Rez would go as far as to just like blackball you like that, but then bring you back knowing that the history you had. So it's just like, how come nothing was ever said when I was there and I was parading around saying I brung the prestige up and I did this and I main evented the hardcore title? Like, how come you never stepped up and said anything? Like, why is it now that it's coming out?
Well, I had stepped up. I did step up. I said and try to remind everyone who I was. But
Right.
instead of reminding everyone who I was, my focal point changed. In the beginning, I wanted everybody to know I used to be here. These are all the championships I had. When I went back in the chat and I went back to match cards and records and everything that was there, it was all deleted. I go back to the championship legacies, that's all deleted too. Instead of Jason Storm and Guardy or Jason Storm and Edwin, it was Edwin and Guardy. Edwin and Guardy is tag champions. Edwin and Guardy is tag champions for ATF. Edwin
Wow.
and Guardy is tag champions for Tasty Boys. I was deleted from history. So without proof, I was laughed at by all of you. So instead of going ahead and showing you that who I was, going back and finding pictures and videos of matches that I've done, I instead decided to rewrite my own legacy and beat every single one of you and back up everything that I was saying. So maybe if you didn't believe when I said that I had beat everyone in the past, you believe it when I beat everybody in the present. And that was where that all changed.
That's incredible. It's
Rez decided
mm-hmm.
that he was going to try and delete everything that I ever did just because I left, just because I was too good. And it was only because it tarnished his legacy. Because not only did he have two fat losses in his loss column from me, along with two other losses to other people, he decided to reset his narrative and make himself undefeated. Kept the same amount of wins that he had, and they just kept growing from wherever he started that loss column being a 0 all the way to now.
Okay, so
He had losses.
help me out with this, right? So before you came back, this was right before I won the hardcore championship. So this was like showcase 6. This was like maybe I say literally a week before Showcase 6, right? So, John came, and I'm pretty sure you're up to date. Like, he was the mystery guy, pull up in the limousine, Rez will hop in, hop out, whatever. So one day he messaged me and he's like, hey, what's up? He was like, I'm starting a faction and I'd like to bring you aboard, but nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? He's like, not even the GM Toby. I said, cool. I was like, so are you gonna just, keep your identity sacred or whatever? And he wound up telling me who he was, and he, said all his stats. He said that he was. I'm not trying to be messy, but he said he was the leader of ATF and he was the longest reigning tag team champions. Um, he also told me that yeah, because when I first came, I felt like MOH was so starstruck, and it was like they were like caged. Like I felt like like when I seen Rez, he was 44-0, and I was like, yo. I said, how are y'all? Look, but just look at how I seen it, right? He was 44-0, and I don't know if you noticed, but Ace was his puppet, in the storyline. So it was a point where Rez wasn't even defending his titles. It was Ace doing it, right? He was his little bitch. And I was just like, I remember talking to Prince J, and I was just like, yo, I can't believe, these niggas let him get to 44-0 and not try to jump him or conspire against him or any, like, everybody kind of falls in line. And I was telling John that. I was like, yo, like, you was here, you was GM, like, why did you let Rez get to 44-0 and nobody beat him? He was like, because I was GM, and most of those wins that he got was because of me, and we worked it into the storyline. So, do you know anything about that, or were you gone when all of that was happening?
So that was actually happening before I even left. Um, Rez already wasn't defending his championship. And it wasn't because he didn't want to defend his championship. No one just wanted to verse him for it. You know, his championship had no prestige. Again, bringing it back to prestige. My title had prestige. Weekly, daily, I was active in the locker room, active in promos, active in interviews, and I called out anyone that I felt like it. People didn't come to me begging for a title opportunity. I went to them and told them, "Here, you want a title opportunity? Go ahead and try to take my title." And in a way, you can say that it was kind of a proving ground. You know, if they couldn't win my title, what made them think that they could win the top title? They wanted to automatically try to jump to the 5 stream championship. And I looked at them and I go, well, if you can't beat me, then you most certainly ain't getting the top title. And I was pretty hush about beating Rez for a good while. But now that he wants to strip me from the record and make himself look like this immortal giant with 54-0, well, now I have to say something. Now I have to let it out of the books that he has lost to me twice. Neither in singles matches either. Because if it was a singles match, he had to defend his championship. That was the rule in MOH back then. If you were set in a singles match, You had to defend your championship. The difference with me was, again, I must have talked so much shit that I pissed off the boss, and no matter what match I was in, my title was on the line. As if he wanted the numbers game to be stacked, if he wanted me to lose the titles. At one point, we had a triple threat tag match. The Aces of MOH, me and Edwin, Scotty and Punisher. We've had these matches, and we've had so many people that I've beaten change their persona as if that was going to help them elevate and beat me. You still fight the same. You still talk the same. You still have the same name at birth. You are the same person to me. And no matter if you name yourself the Diamond Crusher, or you name yourself Scotty, if you name yourself Ghost, or you name yourself Punisher, you name yourself Aaron Barnes, or you name yourself Luke Johnson, if you name yourself whatever the hell you want to name yourself, King Scorpion or Draven, you're going to get the works and you're going to get what's coming to you. I'm going to remain on top and you're just going to look stupid. And the only question you're going to ask in the interview is, do you feel that you could beat Jason Storm? And your dumb ass is going to keep on going and saying, yes, I can. And you're going to rack up loss after loss after loss and tarnish your own legacy trying to take out mine. And all you're going to be doing is boosting my ego, boosting my career, making me more solidified in history than I ever could. But people don't see that anymore.
It's so
People
crazy.
are so
hmm I'm
people are
sorry.
so blinded by gold. People are so blinded by being on the top that they don't realize quitting isn't a bad thing. Letting go and moving on to something different is not a bad thing because you're hurting yourself the more and more you keep failing. Go to somebody else. If you can't beat me, you can't beat me. Go for another title. Go for the 5-stream title. Go for Res. Go for something else. You're not beating me. My title's too big for you, obviously. Go for Rez's title. Work your way back up. That's how I see it.
There's a man. We have a lot in common, Jason. I never. We've shared a lot of dark matches, and I don't think we ever just like sat down and had a true one-on-one. So there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. I feel like how you felt like the boss was being a type of way. I feel like me and the boss, we used to have dark matches all the time. I feel like it was one particular dark match, that probably got out of hand. The cameras wasn't rolling. We're in a performance center, just talking shit. It might have been some other people there or whatever, and I think I said a couple things that may have been out of line, or because if you don't remember, at one point I was part of management and the creative team and stuff like that. And I feel like after that day, I got removed from the management team, which was okay because I was the top talent there. So whatever I said, I was heard anyways. So I always felt like I was management without the official title. So I really didn't care. Then it was just like, I know it was times where I had requests or storylines and I would get ignored. So I kind of feel, how you felt, in that moment. And then also when you're talking about the popularity in the titles, right? If you don't remember, people put up polls like leading to what Hall of Champions. Everybody, mostly everybody, voted. Everybody who wasn't fighting mostly voted for me and Isaac honor cell match, right? And I told Rez, off to the side, I was just like, man, if you wasn't the world heavyweight champion, if the world heavyweight champion didn't default to main event, I would have that main event, and things happened. He got caught up in the airport, and we wound up doing it in either way. So I understand, even looking at the rankings, for a while, like nobody was calling out Rez, right? We would get these new people and the first thing they would say is hardcore champion. I want the hardcore belt, fight me for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like even though you were a dominant champion because I feel like it wasn't. I mean, in a sense, it was prestigious because it was like everybody wanted it and you're whooping everybody ass for it. You know what I'm saying? So like in that way, it's prestigious. You know what I'm saying? But in another way, I just felt like there was nobody that was worth, the hardcore championship shot other than Isaac. You know what I'm saying? I look at my draft class. I look at everybody else. Nobody deserved it, and I feel like I brought that prestige. And now you look at Isaac, he's kind of, doing the same thing. Not everybody could get a title shot at this title, you know. So, I say all of that to say, like, we have a lot in common. Like, a lot of your feelings that you have, I feel those. So I feel like now, because at the time I felt alone. I felt like, damn, am I tripping? But hearing you go through that and the things that you're saying, like, that's a lot of thoughts that I had, and the ways that I felt. So it's kind of like relieving for me, just being transparent. So, and I feel like the same thing is going to happen to me, just like you. I might be erased from the history books. You know, so that's why I kind of created my own thing, where it's like I won't forget, and neither will you. You know what I'm saying? So, but we could kind of shift gears. I want to talk about double champions. All right, you said that you're the first double champ. I want you to elaborate more on that, but I just want to say that I feel like Toby, he don't get talked about enough, but I feel like he was one of the most or the most dominant champion in MOH history. I feel like he's made people quit. I've heard him mention that he's beaten multiple tag teams by himself. I've watched with my own two eyes him beat Rico and Wolfie at the same time. That was insane to defend the title. So, and what is his nickname? Two Belt Toby? You know what I'm saying? Or Toby Two Belts? I feel like he's one of the dominant champions, and he's also the longest reigning five stream champion. So I kind of want to like compare your careers, even though he's not here right now. I know most of his history, but where do you think you rank? Because it wasn't too many dominant, or it wasn't too many two belt champions. I mean, Spec was, So like, where do you rank yourself? Oh, and also Rez, because when I came to the company, Rez had the hardcore belt and the five stream belt. So between you, Rez, Spec, and Toby, where do you rank yourself at? And, or where do you rank all four of you guys, actually? That's the better question.
Specs number 4.
Spec's 4?
Rez
Well,
is 3.
okay.
And I say I'm a very close number 1.
That's insane.
So the way I see it is Toby didn't really Toby was dominant, yes. But it was nowhere near what I had did. Um to management and to everybody else that was in the bag, it was just different. You know, to elaborate, the only reason why Rez became a double champion, the reason why I put him as 3, Rez, no doubt, is, you know, a big name in MOH because he's the boss, but also because, he does his thing. At the end of the day, when he gets in the ring, he does his thing.
I agree.
And he does
I
win
definitely
most
agree.
of his matches, yes.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
The reason why I rank him below me and Toby, the 5 stream championship, when he was 5 stream championship champion when I was around, he went months without defending it. Months. Uh, After I left, you say he took the hardcore championship, correct?
Yes, and he had it for 7 months
Okay.
before I came and snatched it away.
Okay. And now let's talk about this. You say he had it for 7 months.
Correct.
John had told me that there was a big dead spot in MOH.
Mm.
Rez took time off, but
Mm.
no one was ever crowned new champions. The 5 stream and the hardcore championships both stayed with him, that means. And not only that, as I told you before, I made the hardcore championship prestigious. So what smarter thing for Rez to do than when it's vacated, take the title? Because now there is no championships that can be made prestigious except the 2 that he has. So now, instead of going for the hardcore championship because I have it, people are gonna go for a hardcore championship because he has it. He thinks that the championship was what brought the attention. No, it's the person that holds the title. He can hold as much gold as he wants. You said he had it for 7 months. Don't you think in
Correct.
7 months, week after week after week after week, he'd have a lot more than 54 wins?
Mm.
Because he had already had 22 and
Mm.
3 losses when I was there.
Damn.
That's only 32 more wins
Damn.
in a span of a year and a half. That doesn't just happen because you're a weekly competitor whose matches don't count. That happens because you're a competitor that shows up for a pay-per-view and takes time off like you're Roman Reigns.
Damn. So, all right. So, what caused the dead spot in uh MOH? Like, why did the titles go, vacant for that time?
The cause was simply I left, Bishop left, Damian left, Edwin left. Well, got fired. Gotti has no story talent abilities. Ghost had no story talent abilities.
Damn.
They were left with nobody.
So,
They tried recruiting new people. John tried making his own league, but when I joined his own league, it was just a refurbished MOH. All the same guys with different names. I walked up into the company, looked around, and saw a bunch of nobodies. And the exact same thing I did when I first walked into MOH, the exact same thing that I did when I first walked into ADEW. My first match was a hardcore championship match. I snatched the title, made my own title design. It shit on everyone else's design, first of all. And then I went back to MOH because that company wasn't worth my time. I said it to the creator of the industry, and I'm going to say it to you, the creator of this one. That company wasn't worth my time. But the difference between GWA and this other company that John decided to make is activity. Everyone's active. Everyone's doing their own thing. The management is flowing. The people are here. The people are present. They're getting their matches done when they need to get their matches done. They're coming out to the arena when they need to come out to the arena. They leave the locker room when they need to leave the locker room. They show up when they need to show up. That is what's different from GWA and ADW. That's even what's different between GWA and MOH. Because once we all left, now they're in dead spots again, getting new recruits from other leagues, comparing themselves with other leagues, but they won't compare themselves with us because the best of the best that was at MOH came over here. They can't compete with who we have here. They can't even compete with me alone. They can put me in a 1v2 or 1-on-3. They've done it before in MOH with me 2 years ago. They can try to do it again. I'm going to win that handicap match. I'm going to win a triple threat match. I'm going to win a singles match. I'm going to win a Royal Rumble if I have to. There's just no one like me mentally, physically, and skillfully. I'm on top of everyone.
you
The
sound
only
like me.
one, and I'm just going to get to that, the only one that can compete would be you. Back and forth, blow for blow.
Yeah.
When you put a promo on me, granted, you have to pull out your phone or pull out a paper. I hear the timber scratching in your hands to
Mm.
read it off, but you have something to say regardless. And even when I come back at you, you have something to come back with. If you look at King Scorpion, where's his other promo at? He did a whole 4-part video. I went to you and said, what the hell is this long ass video he made? I watched it. I heard my name 17 times like I'm Beetlejuice. I came back at him. Not with a video, not with a cryptic voice, with my fingers. I texted and told him that he was a waste of space, that he couldn't speak. He took 15 minutes between every sentence. I haven't heard a word back from him since. Not as King Scorpion, and not as Draven. Like I said, there was those 2 sentences. And I already retaliated to those about 20 minutes ago. And I bet you he's not going to go make a new promo. He's not going to go into another interview and talk shit about me again. He won't even get a match with me. The only thing he's doing is he's going to have that trios match July 6th. But that doesn't count because he's not even versing me. It's going to be me versus you.
But here's the thing, right? That's if, right? Because I can speak. I mean, we know what Lil Mike can do. You know what I'm saying? If Lil Mike go and take care of business and Draven take care of business, that's kind of, you know what I'm saying? There's no point of me and you, you know? But now that I know the history of you, because I'm at a point in my career where I'm just like, I don't have to have, 54-0, right? Like, I'd rather have, you know, I'd rather have my record be I beat, the best, right? After saying all of this, I think me and you should go first instead of go last, because but then again, it's just like if we go first, I beat you, and Mike. Yeah, but that's too much hypotheticals. But even if we don't get to fight each other, if we go for the clean sweep or whatever, we definitely have to have a match. Because I'm at a point in my career where nothing excites me. Right? I have my own company with Toby, but I don't want to be world champion. I don't want to be mid card. I barely even want to be trios champion. But I want to bring, the little niggas up. So I'm at a point in my career where I don't want to fight unless it's somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like my name means something. I barely want to do dark matches, and that's where I'm at in my career. But come July 6th, your team has been very quiet. It's only been you. We've been punching on you guys. We even made you have to, we had you under so much pressure. You had to reveal, your anarchy, gear, and, you had to show up as Weirdo Jason just for, to have some type of offense, because we was fucking y'all up. I'm going to keep it. The Tasty Boys, we was whooping y'all ass. I mean, we still are. You know what I'm saying? I know you said, King, you did this to King Scorpion, but I've flamed Edwin, and he has not said anything. He had a heart check match, and he's been ghost, so I'm kind of concerned. Because right now it's looking like a 1v3, and you said King Scorpion a lot. You talked about Draven a lot for, Edwin to not say anything, and I've been flaming Edwin,
You talking all this as if you forced me into a hole.
I kind of did.
I'm not forced into anything. Mike has his surprise coming. You know who you're dealing with at July 6th. You've dealt with it before, and you couldn't handle it, and you left.
No, because I did what I want. That was the difference between me and you, right? Because you was just saying that Rez, he didn't want you as champion, so he pretty much like made you fight. He put you through the ringer. He couldn't do that with me because I do what I want. Like, I was the lifeline of that company. I literally walked out. What other champion in the history walks out in the match? The world champion don't even. The owner of the company don't do that, and I did it. I'm different. You know what I'm saying? So I can't speak for. I know some people like, oh, you're scared of Jason. Da, da. No, I really do what I want. I didn't feel like fighting. Think about it. I just had a match on Monday. I won my match on Monday. I break down the GM door. He tried to punish me by putting me in the match with you. I don't want to do that shit. He's lucky that I even showed up, honestly, because I almost didn't. But back then I cared a little bit more. But I really do what I want. I still do what I want, And especially I got my own league now, I could kick my feet up. Like I said, I might not even fight. My niggas might take care of that. I might be a trios champion without even sweating. So, I don't know. But it's been a lot of King Scorpion talk, but Edwin has not said anything, and he's a Tasty Boy. You had to show up as the weirdo again. So I don't know.
You know, it gets to a point where it's almost as if you think that I just had no defense
You
as
did.
Tasty Boy Storm.
You don't.
And
You
it's
have to
it's
be
it's nowhere
weirdo.
near that. It's nowhere near that. You know, back from when I started as Tasty Boy Storm, people hated me. Just like they hate you. People hated me because of what I would say, how I would say it, what I would do to show you that I hate you, to show you that you need to hate me, to show you that I don't respect you just as much as you don't respect me. That was Tasty Boy Storm. That was how it was. The more you hated me, the more I showed you that it's okay to hate me. That's just how it was. I submitted people knowing damn good and well that's a no no. I've gotten people disqualified without them even realizing that they were disqualified until they did it. I've gotten people counted out. I've had refs cheat for me. I did what I want.
That's
I
like,
passed the torch. Unintentionally passed the torch straight to you because now you do the exact same thing that I used to do. Everything that I fucking wanted to. If I wanted to do a match clean, I do a match clean. And I was waiting for the time that I got my 5 stream championship match. And I had to fight by honor and follow every rule of the honor code as 5 stream champion. But that opportunity never came to me because if I would have had that opportunity, Rez knows I would have brought absolutely no honor to that title whatsoever.
so you're telling me you've never been 5 stream champion before?
I was never the 5 stream champion because the 5 stream champion was always Rez at the time. And again, to be booked for a 5 stream championship match, you have to be booked by the boss,
Mm.
who is also the champion. The boss never wanted to verse me. And it's because of the 2 different times that I've already beaten him. Dark matches that were not recorded where I beat him. The boss was scared. I
So,
beat the same man that used to challenge him every single year for that championship. And I beat him. I beat Ace. I beat Edwin. I beat Bishop. I beat Damien. I beat Desmond. I beat Scotty, Punisher, Ghost. Every single person that was in MOH, I made sure I had my piece. I had my fill of them. And they all knew to stand in line. If I wanted a title, you back your ass up and you let me cut the line. Because if you didn't, I beat your ass first. Showed you that I'm better than you and I deserve it more. And then I beat the champion. That was just how I rolled. If you didn't want to move out of the way, I moved your ass out of the way for me. And I did things my own way.
so let me ask
I was
this,
always
right?
better than everyone else.
What is the origin of the World Heavyweight Championship, or were you not here when the World Heavyweight Championship was made? Because I think I heard that it came from another company, and then he brung it, like he wanted another company and brung it,
The,
to MOH. Do
the
you know the
World Heavyweight
history?
Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship was somebody else's. Now, even though it happened after I had left, Edwin was still there a fair bit of time before he left. He told me that the title was brought from somewhere else. Rez won it, brought it over. Rez Rez has a funny way of doing things. He brought the World Heavyweight title over so that he could be a double champion. I'm pretty sure there's more to the story. I'm pretty sure he was getting heat for having 2 titles and, not making them as prestigious as they should have been and taking all this time off. So what he did was, instead of getting rid of one of his titles so someone else could win, he kept himself a double champion for months and ended up giving them a little token to fight for, like a snack for dogs to go try and fight over. And that's what the world heavyweight title was. That's why I had no interest in the world heavyweight title whatsoever.
So this is interesting. So I know you. I've heard things like dead spots and taking time off. What was Rez doing when you say he's taking time off? Was he still like doing dark matches, or was he just like Kind of like how he
Rez
took
wasn't
off,
doing anything.
recently. Was it kind of
Rez
like that?
wasn't doing anything. Rez was not making management decisions. He left that all to John. He left that all to the other GM. All the management decisions were made by John. Dark matches were not a thing.
It's so crazy
Pay
because
per views,
uh-huh.
not a thing. Promos, interviews, updates on how he was, not a thing.
That's so
None of that.
crazy.
None of that happened.
Because I feel like it's happening again. It's almost like a deja vu, right? But it's like a reincarnated, almost like something off. Do you follow Naruto? It's kind of like, Sasuke and, Naruto. They're reincarnated of, I forgot their names or whatever, but it's just like with me and you, right? We went through the same thing where, the top talent in the company, we had the hardcore title, we wanted more, we wound up leaving, everything fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy that you're saying this because, like, I feel like, I'm talking to somebody who knows how it feels. Like, because I've had these thoughts and stuff like that. And I've told multiple people, but I feel like they don't understand where I'm coming from. And now hearing you say all of this is crazy. And, when I left MOH, the last time I was in the Vatican, I had to get right. I was hallucinating. I felt like I was drugged, all types of things, right? I never lost the 5 stream title. I know they had a little match, and obviously it wasn't me. I mean, people could tell it's my stunt double, but it's just like I still have the 5 stream title. I showed up with GWA. I showed up at GWA the other day with it. And I was thinking about just making it a title over here. Because now hearing that Rez did it is just like, why can't I do it? I don't feel as bad. It was always respect because that was their undisputed champion, that was their baby and stuff like that. But it's just like I never really lost that title, and I feel like the prestige has dropped from it because you think about it, right? The hardcore champion, it was supposed to be defended, every week, right? So you look at from Night of Champions to Devil's Advocate, the title changed hands 4 times. So that's like 4 weeks. That's almost like every week there was a new champion. So Toby dropped it. I got it. I never drop. I have the original title. What they have is the replica or remade title, whatever. But anyways, Rico had it, and then Rico just lost the Gang Gang. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the prestige is dropped from it. It was a main title, but now this shit's like a minor title. So, and I have it here, and I don't know if I want to, I had talks with Toby and he said, bringing that title and having it, defended and everything kind of brings it down. But I feel like me and Toby was supposed to have, that was one of my dream matches, with Toby. So we're supposed to have a 3 stages of hell match. Everybody knows that. And I think we're still going to, like, somehow, some way, we're going to squeeze that in, even if it's like at our WrestleMania or whatever. But we're going to see who was the true 5 stream champion because I got it right after him and we were going to fight for it anyways. So, yeah. But we could go ahead and wrap things up. I appreciate you coming and giving us this history lesson because I don't think there was nobody else in the company but John and Ace. But I don't know if they would have said anything or told the truth. So, but I am a fair man, and I do, want to extend the olive branch and have either Ace come up here and talk, or have Rez come up here and talk. John, no, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But yeah, I want one of them to come up here and, after they listen to this, I want them to write down some notes and come up here and they can say what they have to say as well, you know. So, but do you
Look,
have any?
whatever's going on
Uh,
with those two has nothing to do with me. I beat Ace for that title, and I dropped it right in the middle of the ring, right in Rez's ring. I disrespected Ace the day that I beat him to show him I can whip your ass, but I'm out. And I disrespected Rez by being his top guy, the top guy that he never wanted, and disrespecting the title as if it was nothing. But what that's got to do is not with me. What's got to do with me is the fact that my team is slacking. I'm missing one person because he doesn't want to show and doesn't want to come in. And I have another one that wants to stay all hush and quiet while we have a match to deal with. It's just me. I'm all left alone. I thought maybe starting a team was going to elevate my career. I thought starting a team was going to reunite the Tasty Boys and make us better than what we were before. Tag champions, singles champions. But instead, it's like if I'm a singles competitor all over again.
That's what it looks
So
and sounds
maybe
like.
maybe July 6th, maybe July 6th isn't a trios match. Maybe July 6th is just another match for 3 titles that I'm never going to win because the other two are going not going to pick up this slack. And I'm just gonna have to fade off myself again.
Look, man, don't come up here and start writing narratives now. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. You're not finna, oh, boo hoo. No, we're not doing that. Anyways, is there anything else you would like to say before, we cut this off? Because I see what you're just trying to do, and that's not going to work. You know, is there any last words you have?
What we're
Because
gonna do is we're not writing any narratives. I'm not writing a narrative. I'm
that's what it
telling you
sounds
straight
like.
up, and the facts are the facts are the facts. I don't have a team. I've got somebody for Mike, but Edwin is so far off. He's not up to date. He's not speaking. He's running out of friends and he's running out of time. Because come July 6th, he's not ready. He's gonna throw it for all of us. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you what's gonna happen. After we lose, because it's going to happen if he doesn't get his goddamn head in the game, I'm just gonna split off. And I'm gonna do my own thing. And I'm gonna chase every single singles championship that you probably have, up your sleeve. Whatever you want to bring here, I'm gonna go for it. I'm either gonna win it, I'm going to lose it, I'm gonna move on to the next. If I win it, I'm still moving on to the next, or I'm gonna keep the longest title reign in GWA history from the moment that that title is defended as a vacant title all the way until whenever the hell I want to keep it. No one's going to take it from me. Nobody's going to move the way I move. No one's going to talk the way I talk. The only one that has any competition, like I said, is you. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, one on one, you will not beat me, Omega. That is it. That is how it's going to be. That is how it's going to flatline, hook, line, and sinker. You're going to come to me one day, one way or another. We tried to do it in MOH and it got cut short. And you said it yourself. If we don't get to have our match, we're gonna have it at some point. You even wanted to push a main event match to the beginning of the trios, the whole cycle.
Yeah,
That's not gonna happen. Our match is a main event. That's
I
all
agree.
it's ever going to be is a main event. But when it dust settles and it's all said and done, it is me versus you with me on top, and I retain whatever championship I am holding at that time because our match is not just a main event match; it is a main event title match worthy card.
And
There's
you,
nobody else.
yeah,
There's nobody
definitely.
else in GWA. I'm not done. There's nobody else in GWA, and there's nobody else in MOH that can say that. There's nobody that can say that their match is main event worthy. Toby and Rez can say that their match is main event worthy, but it could work as a main event non-title match. Our match is going on for too long now. Promo's going on for too long.
I
Things
agree.
being said for too long. And I've been sitting in this hot seat, kind of trying to hold back and not say anything to you, trying to hold back and just not grab the chair that I'm sitting on and smash you over the head with it for what you wanted to do to me over in MOH.
That's cute.
Drive me loopy, drive me into weird the way you wanted to. You drove that side out of me. You're going to suffer the consequences for doing that. You wanted to drive it out of me again just this past week. You're going to suffer the consequences come July 6th. If we don't get to verse July 6th, I'm going to make sure that we get to verse at some point. Maybe even later on July 6th as a different type of main event. Just a one-on-one, me and you inside of a cage. Me and you
Mm,
inside of a inferno match. Something
mm.
has to happen. Something has to happen. I have to get my hands on you in a legal match to shut your mouth. Even if you want to keep talking the talk, you won't talk the talk about me because I'd already beaten you and I've put you in your place and humbled you down from the God King to a peasant in your own kingdom.
Beating me?
I'm going to take your throne and I'm going to take everything that you've talked about. And yes, I'm talking about you.
I don't know. I'm looking at my loss record. I don't see a Jason Storm on there.
You will soon.
That's cute. That's very cute.
Thank
Um,
you for having me. This interview was nice. I get to tell you a little history lesson on who I was so that you know who you're dealing with. I didn't hear a history lesson on you because I don't need to hear a history here listening, but history record on you. I already know who you are.
Just check
I've
my
seen your
TikTok,
accomplishments.
my YouTube. Yep.
I've seen your accomplishments. I know who you are. Everything that you've done, I've already done it. And I've done it over again. And I'm going to do it again for a third time. You can't stop me. The only way you can stop me is if you let me go. And if you let me go, all your creativity is gone.
Well, I understand, right? So when you're leaving, right, when you walk out those doors and you make a left, right before you leave, if you make another right, that's my display room. I think I posted it on TikTok, all my titles and stuff right there. You can see all of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have much else to say. I mean, but I do have one thing to say, right? At GWA, we will not hold you, you know, we will not limit you. The sky is the limit. You know what I'm saying? You have no, you have 100% creative because you can do whatever you want. But I do have a challenge for you, right? You want to go after all these titles and you want to do this, but do it as Tasty Boy. Because I feel like Weirdo Storm is kind of like Finn Balor's demon, right? He kind of needs him to be great because without the demon, Finn Balor's a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal. But the demon is like, okay, like we know we finna get some gold. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, your promos as Tasty Boy is but your promos as Weirdo is crazy. So I challenge you, and you don't have to take my challenge. You can do what you want with, like I said, 100% creative control. But I challenge you to do everything as Tasty Boy Storm, and that's all I have. That's all I have.
In the long run, Tasty Boy Storm was temporary. But if you want Tasty Boy Storm to flourish and actually thrive, then so be it.
We'll
I'll
see.
let him thrive.
We'll see.
I'll let both versions of me thrive. Weirdo Storm will kind of be like another person on the roster. Weirdo Storm can have one title, and Tasty Boy Storm can have another title after I'm done whipping everybody's ass around the ring.
I like that.
That's just how it's going to be.
I like that.
But that's how I want it to be.
I mean,
I want Tasty Boy Storm to flourish. Yes.
we could keep going. I mean, we missed the key factor in everything. You're talking about titles, but I really don't think he could beat Toby. You know, Toby two belts. But look, that's neither here or there. You know, So that's neither here or there. I
I can
have.
beat Toby just like I'm going to beat you July 6th if we even get to have our match.
We'll
I'm
see.
going to beat you. And when I'm done beating you, in the long run, I will have Toby. And when I have Toby, I'm going to whip his ass all around the ring. If he's holding a championship, then I'm going to take the championship and I'm going to become the longest reigning GWA champion that any other league has ever seen. MOH is going to want people to come over here. MOH is going to finally want to collab with your company because they're going to want to try and tear somebody down. They're going to try and tear it down by beating me because I'm going to be on top. I'm going to hold the gold, more prestigious than any title that's over there. Even though people don't even know about our league, the fan base is going to come. The people are going to come and they're going to have no choice but to merge over with us because I'm going to be the talk of the town, the talk of the city, country, continent. Every single piece of this world will revolve around me. And you're not stopping it. Toby's not stopping it. And MOH isn't stopping it. You can sit me down for an interview all you want. And I can tell you as much as you need to know, but it's still not everything that you need to know about me. There's a lot of secrets that I keep, and there's a lot of things that I can do to you that you don't even know that I have in store. But come July 6th, you'll get a little piece. If you want to verse me again some other time after, you'll get another piece, but you'll never see 100% of Storm. Storm has no limits. Storm has no end, no boundaries. I disrespect who I want to the limit that I want to disrespect them. And if that means I have to go through every single person just to disrespect your company as much as you want me to, I will. You say you're the best draft. You brought about 80% of that draft here. So when I'm done slapping you all around the ring and I disrespect that best round draft that you decided to name yourself,
Generational talent.
you're going to realize that me alone is the best round draft.
We'll see. But
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see because July 6th
we'll see.
is right around the corner. But
Yeah, right around the corner. 2 weeks. I'll see you then.
thank you
I'm
for
not getting
stopping by.
paid for overtime. It's been about almost an hour. Rico kind of cut into my time, but it's okay. I took the time for whoever hell's next. Goodbye.
Goodbye.